Part 6 of turning my 1980 Chevy LUV from this into this. So in part 2 we stripped the interior. Well, I missed a couple things, but we're going to take care of that right now. I started off with the door panels by removing the window crank, door handle bezels, and the door pull. And after a couple hidden screws on the bottom, it just pops right off. I also ground down some sharp edges. I then removed the sill plates and the ugly blue molding, and then went on to remove the old crusty dash. This thing literally broke out in chunks. I also had to remove the glove box so that I didn't break it taking the rest of the dash off. I then reinstalled it, and look how that closes. Of course, wouldn't be complete without a nasty LUV sticker, merch link in bio. And then these ugly blue kick panels. I then had to take off the visors, and this crumbly little light, it literally fell apart. And lastly, these thingies. And then finish it off by cutting out the headliner. And now the very last order of business was to remove all these seat belts, because who needs those, right? It's really starting to look like a NASCAR truck. Stay tuned for part 7. Welcome to part 7 of turning my 1980 Chevy LUV from this into this. So next thing on the to-do list is to get rid of some of this rust and coat the floors. I got all my PPE on, and it's time to start wire brushing with the drill. I wire brushed most of the floor to prepare the surface for rust encapsulator. Wire brush also helped to get rid of a bunch of stuck on dirt and grime. And then my drill died, so then I guess I was done with the wire wheel. I then vacuumed the whole floor, blew all the dust out with compressed air, and then vacuumed one more time. Next, I sprayed the entire floor with wax and grease remover, agitated it, and then wiped it off with a rag. Prepping the surface like this is a very vital step so that the rust encapsulator has something to stick to. I blew it out one more time, then filled my spray gun with the rust encapsulator. I then laid it down on the rusty areas, and this stuff takes 48 hours to cure before it can be painted. And while that started to cure, I sprayed the back half of the truck with a different type of rust encapsulator. And in 48 hours, we'll be able to paint this bad boy. Thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for part 8. Part 8 of turning my 1980 Chevy LUV from this into this. I'm now putting extended version videos on my YouTube channel A to Z Performance. So let's get started. We're going to clean out this engine bay and finish up the floors from the last video. I got out the pressure washer and it's time to get rinsing. I then broke out the uber satisfying foam cannon and started scrubbing. And I even hopped in the engine bay. After a lot of degreaser and scrubbing, it started to come off. And getting all the grease off this belly pan was super satisfying. And here's what it looks like after. A huge improvement. So I turned my attention inside the cab where I wiped it all down with a tack cloth. I coated the rust treatment with a rust sealer. And guess what everyone? I'm going to start buying parts for the build on Monday. I'm going to start off with buying the Ford 9-inch and then the engine swap mount kit. Now back to your program. I finished off the floor pan with a white Rust-Oleum paint. Didn't turn out perfect, but I'm very happy with it. Thanks guys for watching, and stay tuned for part 9. We might start adding parts. Part 9 of turning my 1980 Chevy LUV from this into this. Today I decided to remove the rear bumper and spare tire. As it turns out, a 3/8 extension works great for lowering the spare tire on my LUV. And now that the tire is off, we can remove the spare tire carrier. It's just 4 easy to get to bolts, and luckily they weren't rusted at all. Although I can't really say the same for the ones holding on the bumper, because I broke one, and then another. One more bolt, and now the left side of the bumper is free. And now onto the right side where I broke yet another bolt. And after some choice swear words, I was able to get this last bolt out, and then wiggle the bumper off. And now it's looking good, except for that dent. Me being the expert body man I am, I hammered it out. And that's the job done. Thanks for watching. Don't forget about extended version videos on my YouTube channel, and stay tuned for part 10. Part 10 of turning my 1980 Chevy LUV from this into this. So while we're waiting on parts in the mail, I decided to tear apart the engine for the LUV. I started with the accessory drive, which was actually very simple, and then the intake and coil packs. I then took off the driver's side header, valve cover, and then the rocker arm assembly. Then I moved over to the passenger side and did the exact same process. I also made sure to lay out all my parts side per side so it doesn't get mixed up. Then removed the knock sensors and valley pan, followed by all the cylinder head bolts. I then removed the cylinder head to confirm this is in fact a 5.3. Pulled the lifters, driver's side cylinder head, and now we're left with a short block. But we're not done yet. I want to see how those rod bearings look, so we flipped it over, took off the oil pan, the windage tray, and the pickup tube. And I even found a cut up O-ring inside the oil pump. Luckily it was never ran like this. I removed the pistons, rods, and bearings, and the rods and bearings were in great condition, so that's a job done. Thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to check out my Instagram and YouTube, link in bio, and stay tuned for part 11.